Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a QuickSilver statue. By the way, this particular QuickSilver is based on the QuickSilver out of the Avengers film. Also, I will be leaving a link to an Avengers themed playlist in the cards and in the description of the video, just in case you'd like to make some more Avengers themed statues. Now that all of that formal stuff's out of the way, if you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You will need some white stained clay, then grab light grey stained clay, then grab cyan stained clay, then grab yourself some white wool, some light blue, grab black, dark grey, light grey wool, and finally grab yourself some dark blue wool. And those are the only materials that you're going to be needing. So once you have each one of those, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here. You're going to want to kick off your statue with a row of 8 dark grey wool in a row on the floor. That's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like that. And once you have your row of 8 dark grey wool, this is what you want to do for row number 2. So going left to right on top of the next row, do this sequence of blocks. Do 1 light grey, 2 dark grey, 2 light grey, 2 dark grey, 1 light grey. For the next row, going from left to right again, do 1 black wool, 2 light grey, 2 black, 2 light grey, 1 black wool. For the next 2 rows, do 2 solid rows of black wool. So that's 1 and 2. For the next row, place a single cyan clay on the ends of your row and then do black wool everywhere else. For the next row, do 4 black wool in the 4 center spots of your row, then do cyan clay everywhere else. For the next row, place a single cyan clay on the ends of your row again, then place black wool everywhere else in between. For the next 4 rows, do 4 solid rows of black wool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've just got to fill those in. So that'll be 2, that'll be 3, and that will be 4, just like that. For the next row, you know what will actually help us? If we move the cyan stained clay a little bit closer to the dark grey and light grey wool, it'll help us out a little bit since these colours are all bunched together. So for the next row, going from left to right, do 2 cyan clay, then 1 light grey, 2 cyan clay, 1 light grey, 2 cyan clay. And once you've got that row taken care of, if you do yourself a favour and do this sequence of blocks coming out of the left and right hand side of this row, do 2 white clay followed by 2 cyan clay, it will actually do us a little bit of good a little later on when we've got to figure out where the arms are. So what you want to do, once you've got the base of that row taken care of, just do those 2 additional rows on the left and right hand side, and those are just the first rows of QuickSilver's arms. We're going to be ignoring those from going forward, but we will come back to them in just a moment. So once you've got that taken care of, continuing on up the torso on top of these 8 middle blocks here, you just want to repeat the row that you just made. So for the second row of the torso, just repeat the exact same row that you've just done. For the next row, going from left to right, do 1 cyan clay, 1 light grey, 4 cyan clay, 1 light grey, 1 cyan clay. For the next row, do a single light grey on the ends of your row, then do cyan clay everywhere else in between. For the next row, do 1 light grey, 1 cyan, 1 light grey, 2 cyan, 1 light grey, 1 cyan, 1 light grey. For the next row, going from left to right, do 1 black wool, 2 light grey, 2 cyan, 2 light grey, 1 black wool. For the next row, do 1 black wool, 1 light grey, 4 cyan, 1 light grey, 1 black wool. For the next row, place a single light grey on the ends of your row, then do cyan everywhere else. For the next row, for the next row, don't do anything other than do an entire row of cyan clay. Just make that entire row cyan clay. I'm getting ahead of myself. For the next row, place a single dark blue on the ends of your row, and then do cyan clay everywhere else in between. I was jumping the gun, I was preparing myself for that row. For the next row, going from left to right again, do 1 black wool, 1 dark blue, 4 cyan, 1 dark blue, 1 black wool. And for the final row of the torso, do 4 white clay in the 4 center spots of the row, and then do black wool everywhere else. And what you want to end up with is something that should look a little bit like this. So this is what you want to have for the front of your statue so far. Once you've got that taken care of, all we have to do now are the arms. So come over to the right hand side of your statue first of all, and the way that we're going to do the arms are the exact same ways that we did the legs and the torso. So from going left to right, for the second row of the arm, you actually want to do 2 solid rows of cyan. So on top of this first row, 1 and 2 directly on top. For the next row, do 2 light grey, 2 cyan. For the next row, do 1 dark grey, 2 light grey, 1 cyan. For the next row, do 2 dark grey, 2 light grey. For the next row, do 3 dark grey, 1 light grey. For the next row, do 1 dark grey, 1 dark blue, 2 dark grey. For the next row, do 1 dark blue, 1 cyan, 1 dark blue, 1 dark grey. For the next row, do 3 cyan, 1 dark blue. For the next row, do 1 dark blue, 3 cyan. And for the final row of the arm, do 1 dark blue, 1 black, 1 dark blue, 2 cyan, like that. 1 black, 1 dark blue, 2 cyan. Sorry about that. And what you'll want to end up with once that first arm is completely finished is something that should look exactly like this. Once you've got that first arm taken care of course we want to move all the way over onto the opposite side of the statue here, and we now want to build up the second arm. So on top of this first row right here, stack 2 solid rows of cyan clay. So that's 1 and 2. Then for the next row, do 2 cyan, 2 light grey. For the next row, do 1 cyan, 2 light grey, 1 dark grey. For the next row, do 2 light grey, 2 dark grey. For the next row, do 1 light grey, 3 dark grey. For the next row, do 2 dark grey, 1 dark blue, 1 dark grey. For the next row, do 1 dark grey, 1 dark blue, 1 cyan, 1 dark blue. For the next row, do 1 dark blue, 3 cyan. For the next row, 3 cyan, 1 dark blue. And for the final row, do 2 cyan, 1 dark blue, 1 black. And what you want to end up with once that entire front of the statue is 100% complete is something that should look exactly like this. This is what you want to have for your statue so far, and once you've got the entire front of it done, we can now move all the way around the back of it, and we can now build up the rest of it. So moving on from here, come all the way around to the back of your statue and come all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. Take out your dark grey wool and extend each end of the bottoms of the feet out of the back of the statue by 2 rows of 3 dark grey. So like this, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And then connect each one of those third blocks together like this to form a U shape. We're now just going to build up on top of these 8 back blocks that we have right here, and we'll build up the entire back of the statue very much how we just built up the entire front of the statue. Then we'll do the sides, then we'll do the head, then we'll be done. So building up on top of the back row of the statue, for the second row, do an entire row of light grey wool. Then do 10 solid rows of black wool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we've just got to fill those in now. So this will take a little while, but you just want to end up with 10 solid rows of black wool. I actually don't know how many we've done. Are we on 6? 7? 8? 9? It was a good guess. And 10. So once you have your 10 solid rows of black wool, you then want to do 5 rows of cyan wool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course we've just got to fill these in now. So that'll be 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once you've done your 5 solid rows of cyan, for the next row, place a single light grey on the ends of the row, then do cyan everywhere else. For the next 2 rows, going from left to right, do 1 black wool, 1 light grey, 4 cyan, 1 light grey, 1 black wool. And like I said, that's for 2 rows, so once you've got that first row taken care of, just do the exact same thing to the row above it. And for the final 4 rows of the statue, going from left to right, do 2 black wool, 1 light grey, 2 cyan, 1 light grey, 2 black wool. And like I said, those are for the final 4 rows. So once you've got that first row taken care of, just extend every single block all the way up by 3. So what you want to end up with for the back of the statue so far is something that should look exactly like this. So once you've got that taken care of, all you have to do to take care of the back of the statue is the backs of the arms. And I've got some really good news for you. The backs of the arms are identical to the fronts of the arms in every way, shape and form. So all you have to do to complete the backs of the arms are look directly forward at what you did on the front of the statue and just apply it onto the back, just as I'm doing now. They are in the exact same position, they use the exact same blocks, and there is absolutely nothing difficult about it whatsoever. So I'm just building up this first arm here, and as you guys can see, it is 100% identical to the front of the arm, absolutely nothing to it whatsoever. So once you've got one done, you want to move on to the other one, of course, which I'm doing now. So we're just building up the second arm, and again, it's not difficult in any way, shape or form, because all you've got to do is just look directly forward at what you did on the front of the statue, and you shouldn't run into any problems. So I'm just doing that now, and here we go, there we go. So those are both of the backs of the arms, and that is the entire back of the statue, 100% complete. Nice and simple. Once you've got the back of the statue taken care of, we can now move on to the sides of the statue. So moving on to this side of the statue, first of all, I always like to start at the bottom here. This is what you want to do with the sides. They're actually really simple. So for the sides, for the most part, all you really want to do is just copy whatever color you have on the front and the back of the statue, and you just want to copy that color into the 2 empty center blocks of the legs. I know it's a little tricky with the legs since you've got that cyan clay on the right hand side, but all you have to do for the legs, do 1 row of light grey wool, then make the entire rest of them black wool, just as I've done there. It's nice and simple. Once you've got those done, with the arms, all you do really have to do for the arms is just match whatever color you have on the left and right hand side of you. So here we have cyan clay, here we have light grey, here we have dark grey, dark blue, cyan, and the same goes for when you hit the top of the shoulder. For the top of the shoulder, again, you just want to copy the colors for the top of the shoulder. I've actually came in a lot further than I need to. You only have to come in by 3 rows when you get to the top of the shoulder. This one, and then this one, where we hit this first row of black. But as you guys can see, sides of the statue really simple. For the legs, 1 row of light grey, rest black. For the sides of the arms, you just copy whatever color you have. So once you've got the first side of your statue taken care of, we now want to move all the way over onto the opposite side and do the exact same thing on this side. So we're quite literally just going to do the exact same thing that we did on the opposite side of the statue, which makes it really easy and doesn't really require any explanation whatsoever. So I'm just copying exactly what I did all the way over on that side, and once we've got this side of the statue taken care of, we can then move on to the head. Then we'll have a look at our statue, then we'll be done. So I'm just filling in the top of the shoulder here. There we go, and as you guys can see, the second side of the statue is 100% identical to the first. Once you've got both sides of your statue taken care of, once you've reached this point right here, we can now do the head. So come all the way to the front of your statue and come all the way up to the top of the torso. Kick this off by doing a row of 8 white clay on top of the top row of the torso. So just do a row of 8 white clay on top of the top row of the torso, just like that. Once you've got your first row of 8 white clay, do an additional row directly in front of that first row, like this. Once you've got that second row, you then, going from left to right in front of the second row, want to do this sequence of blocks. Do 2 black wool, 1 white clay, 2 black wool, 1 white clay, 2 black wool, and this is just the first row of the face here. So we're now going to be building up on top of this row. So for the second row of the face, going up on top, going from left to right, do 1 black wool, 2 white clay, 2 of whatever this other colour of clay is, I've kind of forgotten what it's called, do 2 of that darker colour of white clay, then do 2 white clay, then 1 black wool. For my own curiosity, I've got to figure out what the name of that clay is. Oh, it's light grey stained clay. It looks absolutely nothing like it. I would have guessed brown or magenta or something. Okay, anyway, that is what you want for the second row of the face. For the next row, do 4 black wool in the 4 center spots of the row, then do white clay everywhere else. For the next row, do an entire row of white clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 1 white wool, 1 light blue, 2 white clay, 1 light blue, 1 white wool, 1 white clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 2 black wool, 2 white clay, 2 black wool, 1 white clay. For the next row, do an entire row of black wool. For the final row of the face, do an entire row of light grey wool to give you something which should look a little bit like this. I was going to save this until later, guys, but I figure since we're on the front of the head now, we should probably add the little bit of detail that we have to with the light grey wool. So once you've reached this point right here, take out your light grey wool and place light grey wool in these positions right here. I can't really explain it, it's a little complicated to put into words, but it should be quite easy to see what you've got to do with your light grey wool. Just place that light grey wool in front of the top of the face, just like that, and that is all you'll have to do for detail, including later on. So once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the rest of the head. So come all the way around to the back of the head and take out your white clay. With your white clay, you basically want to extend that first initial row of 8 white clay that you placed, and you want to extend it over the back of the statue until it overhangs the back of the statue by 2 rows, like this. Once you've done that, you then want to take this second row, this back row, knock out the 2 middle blocks and replace those 2 middle blocks with black wool, like that. We're now going to build up the back of the head, the sides of the head, then the top of the head, then we'll be done. So for the second row of the back of the head, do an entire row of black wool. For the next row, going from left to right, do 1 black wool, 1 light grey, 1 black, 2 light grey, 1 black, 1 light grey, 1 black. For the next 5 rows, do 5 solid rows of light grey. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just fill in those rows with your light grey. So that'll be 3, 4, and 5. Just like that. And that is what you want to have for the back of the head, nice and easy. Once you've got that taken care of, come over to this side of QuickSilver's head, and we're just going to build up the side of the head just how we've built up every other side. So for the second row of QuickSilver's head, going from left to right, do 1 black wool, then 4 white clay, then 1 black wool. For the next row, do 2 black wool, 2 white clay, 2 black wool. For the next row, do 1 light grey, 4 black wool, 1 light grey. And once you've done that row, all you have to do is then just make the entire rest of this side of the head light grey wool, just as I'm doing now. So you want to end up with something that should look like this, nice and easy. Once you've done that to the first side of the head, you now want to go all the way over to the opposite side of the head, where I am now, and you just want to do the exact same thing on this side of the head as you did on that opposite side. So to complete this side, all you have to do is literally look directly forward at what you did on that side and just copy it over to this side. Simple as that, absolutely easy, nothing needs explaining. And once you've got that second side of the head 100% fully completed, all you have to do to finish off your statue is completely fill in the top of the head in with light grey wool, just as I'm doing now. Nice and easy, requires no effort whatsoever. Completely fill in the top of the head in with light grey, and you'll end up with something that should look a little bit like this. It's about time that we take off the UI and we admire our 100% fully completed QuickSilver statue. So once you've completely filled in the entire head, back, sides, head, face, all of that fun stuff, once you've done that, you should end up with a 100% fully completed QuickSilver statue, and we're just giving him with a once over now. Pretty cool looking statue. He's probably about as close as you can get to the movie version of QuickSilver, because I mean, he doesn't particularly have like a flashy, outrageous costume that's nice and easy to copy. He just kind of have like a very casual, very simple suit, and he is somewhat hard to do, to be honest with you. He's kind of like Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch really doesn't have a costume which would make it nice and easy to make either, but did the best that I could. Here he is. Hopefully you guys liked him. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you managed to make him, and I will see you in the next video. And remember, I do have an Avengers playlist which I will leave in the cards and in the description of this video. Thanks for watching.